Good morning, IHSA football family. How you guys doing? This is time now for what you need to know about the Kaneland Knights, Kaneland football. My name is Coach Big Pete, aka Pure Limber. You can follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we get into this Kaneland season, and we talk about some of the bigger players for the Kaneland Knights. Eric Johnson, star-studded player, had unbelievable last season. Definitely a player to keep an eye out for. Troy Carlson, quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Illinois, could be one of the top quarterbacks in this region of the Midwest. He is the real deal. Keep an eye out for Troy Carlson. Brett Larson, big-time offensive lineman for the state of Illinois, top offensive lineman in the state of Illinois for 2024. Again, these three kids that I mentioned are class of 2024. What does that say about this team? 2 years, and this team has got a great shot. And I was talking about Morris. We're talking about two teams in that 5A, 6A type of thing that look really, really good. And this Kaneland Knight team is the real deal. Dominic DeBlasio, wide receiver that needs to be talked about more, deserves more respect to be talked about. Ryan Ilgram, linebacker, long snapper, committed to Minnesota. One of the best long snappers in the country. Definitely a player to check out as well. You look at the youth. Again, I'm looking at that secondary. That's going to be huge for the season. The secondary of Kaneland. They have to show out this Friday. Again, they need to get that bad taste out of that loss of Geneva last week out of their mouth. They got to win. Well, not winning this game, but they got that secondary's got to show out this on Friday night. Big thing for them. And we look down into more of that secondary. We also look too at that ground game of Kaneland. They got that's another thing that has to show up as well against this tough Morris team. I'm trying to find one of the players that I want to talk about. Nick Ulstadt, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. Definitely another player that you got to check out for from Kaneland, the Kaneland Knight team. He is going to be the future of the Kaneland Knights as well. He's definitely a kid that you want to check out as well, Nick Ulstadt. And we go into the schedule. All right. So we got after Morris, which is a tough game as usual. Woodstock could be a little bit of a surprise, but I think they got that game. Kaneland, Ottawa 2-0. They're a little bit of a surprise. That's a surprise team right now. I think they're going to win that one. Kaneland. Sycamore's always a tough game with Sycamore. The Sycamore Spartans, Eli Meyer and quarterback and company. That's going to be a big game for Kaneland. Marengo, I'm going to give that game to Kaneland. Woodstock North, I'm going to give that game to Sycamore in that one. And LaSalle, Peru, could be a surprise. I'm going to give that game to Kaneland. Again, possibly 7-2 or 6-3 as the schedule goes. But the schedule's in favor of Kaneland. And again, the big thing is when they get into the playoffs, and we look into. And I talked about this as well. And so if you look at Kaneland and what happened last year, they lost to a juggernaut in Fenwick. But like I was talking about, this whole 5A class and the change classes. We'll get into that later. But Kaneland right now, to me, is another interesting team, just like Morris. And would I be surprised if this conference, these two, either this Kaneland or Morris make a run to the IHSA state title game? No. Or Sycamore too. They could be another interesting team as well. But if you look at the bracket, you look at what's going on in 5A, there's not that many for sure teams. I mean, you could look at Glenbard South and say, hey, yeah, Glenbard South, they're going to be good. But again, there's not a lot of for sure teams. Kankakee is probably the only one that really people are going to talk about. But Kaneland Nazareth found a lot of holes in Kankakee. Found a lot of holes in Kankakee. So this Kaneland team could make a run at an IHSA state title and be playing after Thanksgiving. So, and again, they have the team. I think again the Geneva game, they took it off the throttle, and Geneva won that game. The big thing is finishing those 4 quarters. That's the most important thing. And I think this was a learning experience against a tough Geneva team. And I think Kaneland is going to be ready to play against the tough Morris team. And I think Kaneland is another team that we got to talk about when they get into the playoffs, along with Morris. So definitely keep an eye out for them. Tomorrow is going to be, actually I'm going to do one more video today about both teams, what they need to do. And then after that, final thoughts, more magic numbers. Going to be talking about this game on Deep Dish Football Live Wednesday. Today, 7 p.m. Going to be talking about the Deep Dish Football game of the week as well. Follow Coach Big P and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And then again, if you like my work, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. Please feel free to leave a donation/tip to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. They do a wonderful job. Please check them out. And again, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com.